Hey guys, it's Tom here. I know a lot of you have been asking some questions lately about what I've been up to and about the book, so I just thought I'd take a minute to kind of fill you guys in on what I've been up to and how the book's going. Well, I was actually looking to buy the book myself, and it was only when I realized that no one had written a book that kind of captured everything the tournament was about that I decided to write it myself. So I had no experience whatsoever writing a book, but I decided just to give it a shot, and luckily it worked out for me. Well, nothing, and I mean nothing, captures the imagination of America like the NCAA tournament. It's really where I have my fondest sports memories. I mean, I still remember where I was when Hampton beat Iowa State as a 15 seed in 2001, or when Gonzaga made the Elite Eight in 1999. So, I mean, I don't even know one person who doesn't watch the selection show on Sunday or come to work or school the next day with their brackets filled out. And, it's usually the people who know the least about basketball who end up winning the whole thing, and it's just the unpredictability of the tournament that I think makes it so great. Well, let me tell you, as someone who grew up for 6 years in Greensboro, North Carolina, there was no greater honor for me than to speak with Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams. I think after John Wooden, Mike Krzyzewski is probably the second greatest coach of all time. He's won 4 national championships at Duke, and he's about to break the all-time wins record next year. And Roy Williams had a great career at Kansas before he came to North Carolina, and he won the national championship in 2005 and 2009 for the Tar Heels, and he's third all-time in winning percentage, which a lot of people don't realize. And most impressively, for 20 straight years, he went to the NCAA tournament and won a game every single year. I also had a chance to speak with Lute Olson, who went to the NCAA tournament 23 years in a row at Arizona. And when he got to Arizona, I think they'd been 4-24 the previous season and had no history and no tradition of excellence before he got there. And he totally turned that program around, and he won the national championship in 1997. And another guy kind of like him who's really underrated is Tom Izzo. Tom won the national championship in 2000 at Michigan State, but what a lot of people don't remember about him is that he went to 6 Final Fours in 12 years, which is just a level of consistency and excellence that you hardly ever see in basketball today. Another guy I had a real blast speaking with was Shaka Smart. He's a Madison guy like myself, and took VCU to the Final Four this year where no one really ever gave his team a chance. Brad Stevens, another calm, confident young guy just like him, won 30 games in his first year and went to the Final Four last year when no one was giving them a chance. And then this year, without Gordon Hayward, they still made the national championship game, which is just incredible. I also lived in Maryland for 4 years, and it was a real honor to speak with Gary Williams too. He won the national championship in 2002 for the Terrapins, and that was actually their first national championship in basketball, so that was a real blast to see him win it. Denny Crum, probably the most underrated coach in NCAA history. He won 2 national championships in 1980 and 1986, and he went to 6 Final Fours. And Isaiah Thomas, I mean, even before he won 2 NBA titles and 11 consecutive All-Star appearances with the Pistons, he led Indiana to the 1981 national championship. And I think right after Magic Johnson, he's probably one of the best point guards of all time. So I've had a blast speaking with a ton of guys, but this is only really the tip of the iceberg because I had a chance to speak with 170 athletes and coaches. So I had a real blast talking with them, and I think you'll really enjoy hearing what they all have to say. Well, a lot of these guys were in the public eye, so it was actually pretty easy to find out what they were doing, but sometimes I would go through their athletics department where they played at college to just figure out if they had any contact information on them, but usually it was pretty easy to get a hold of the people. There were occasionally a time or two when I would have no idea what someone was doing, and they'd play like 50 or 60 years ago, and let's just say there was a guy named Tom Hager who played at Indiana in 1940. I would look up in the white pages all the Tom Hagers that live in Indiana and call each of them and ask if they were the Tom Hager that played, back 70 years ago for Indiana. And sometimes that would work, it usually wouldn't, but most of the time I was able to find these guys just looking online or contacting their athletics department, so it was pretty easy. Well, there's actually 2 sections. One is a year-by-year look at the champion of each tournament, and the other section is on the 100 greatest games of all time, counting down from number 100 to number 1. That I cannot tell you, but you'll find out soon enough when you buy the book next October. Thanks a lot.